And of course, all of the recordings that we do for the class is for those who are enrolled in the class. I don't use it for marketing or any other purpose. So they're just for those who are here or who have registered to be here. So welcome. Glad to have you here. As I said, these classes, I keep them rather small. I've never taught it in the TAG facilitation in this form before. I've only taught it one time 10 years ago. So it's time to get the principles, concepts out there and let others begin to work with them more deeply than they've been able to before. So I'm really glad to be here to share that with you. So I'm going to set space, and I know you can join me in adding your own beautiful vibrations to that. So just take a moment and make sure your physical body is in a place where it's comfortably held and stable. There's nothing the physical body needs to do to give you warnings or to give you messages. This is its time to be held in this circle, sacred ground of sovereignty, and just relax into this moment. We know that because of the physical bodysuit, that gives us the opportunity for so many more possibilities than we would have were we not in the body. So we really want that bodysuit to be respected and honored, that all that it needs vibrationally to be vibrant and well and stable is brought to it in this time of our circle. We do meet in the sacred space of sovereignty. The circle is held within the guardian circle vortex of healing, of rejuvenating, and of absolute protection and removal of that which has harmed, used our energy in any way. We are surrogates, we are points of light for all of humanity, saying we are divine beings. We are holding that truth as we gather. And anything that vibrationally has taken us off that truth, that would take us off that truth, that is taking off that truth, we call for its removal, transformation. And since the energy field that's provided by that intelligent group of unlimitedness we call sun, that portal through which home energy flows and is recalibrated, is changed for our use here on the planet. And we give thanks to that portal, that field. With your breath, your imagination, feel yourself cocooned, filled with that energy, held in that energy, moving through you right down into Mother Earth, holding that resource. She's holding that space. She has great commitment, and she is a part of all that we do in TAG. Just get a sense of her welcoming you to this part of her home, to this part of her intelligent unlimitedness. As you breathe, let that breath moving through you, softening and releasing your day. Letting that energy field hold focus with and for you. We invite in our individual teams of light and healing and guidance, those beings of integrity, who work with you uniquely, asking them to be present in this circle, in this course, always. Let your imagination put you into whatever place feels just perfect for you. It might be a circle in the woods, might be an ancient, beautiful hermit cabin. You may sense yourself on a unique ship of space. And most importantly, let yourself feel that energy beyond time and space. That energy says, wow, glad you're here. You're in the right place. I'm excited with you. We're going to do this. So with intention, right of authority, we set this space for learning, for curiosity, for expansion, to add to and expand our life of meaning, of purpose, of joy, of good. Our space is set, opened, and so it is. So now we're going to place ourselves in the circle, and I want you to just hear what quality would like to be added through you. It might be something you already have in mind, or it might be something that just comes to mind. So we're just going to name where you are on the planet and what quality, value wants to come into the circle through you. And we'll do it with a tag method, meaning I'll start, and then I will tag someone, and they will do their presencing into the circle, and they will tag the next person until we've all gone around. So Sharon Raji Maynard here, Whidbey Island in the state of Washington. And I want to bring to the circle that sense of deep connection to the divine. And Audrey, I tag you.
Hi, I'm Audrey, and I'm from Wyoming, Pennsylvania, and I bring adventure, and exploration. And I tag Diana.
Diana, you're muted.
Oh, good. Yeah. So my name is Diana Maynard. I'm Sharon's daughter, one of many, and I also live on Whidbey Island, although I'm in the process of moving. So I'm taking a nice break from packing and yeah, the joys of that. The quality that I would like to bring into this group that might be something that I would like to invite into my life. There are a few, but I guess the word, sorry, to be emotional. Serenity. So thank you. Oh, and I tag Orlantha.
Hi, I'm Marlantha, white hair. I am currently living in Arizona, near the Phoenix area. And the quality I'd like to bring to the group is harmony. That's something I like to think about my own life, and I try to reflect to others around me too. And I'd like to tag Jalen.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I'm Jalen. I live in Viroqua, Wisconsin, and I am bringing balance of busyness and stillness, of learning and sharing. Yeah. And I call on Arlie.
Hello, I'm Arlie. I live in Eastbourne, New Zealand. That's the southern end of the North Island, right across the harbor from Wellington. And I would like to bring in determination. I am determined to start using these techniques, and also openness, in the hope that they will fall into me and I will grasp them with ease and wisdom and the ability to use them. So, and I think that's all of us.
It is all of us, Arlie. So this circle has an energy that's been created because of your presence here. There is an intelligence field that is holding us because we are present as beings of energy, which is intelligence, which is information. So that is totally unlimited. We have no idea. That form is like a song, a harmonic that is created just because you're here. And then us adding these qualities to that field is by our intention. Our presence on the planet as women especially is to design space, to not just live within whatever's here, but to also call forth or design. So the qualities we have added is a deepening to divine, adventure and exploration, serenity, harmony, a balance of peace between busyness and stillness, and that determination that the openness of what we are here to share comes with ease, creating wisdom, following into determination of application. Pretty good circle. And I want you to also recognize, and this is true in any circle, but because this is a teaching circle, I might talk a little bit more than sometimes. Anytime there is, a person, even, not even two, but one, there is an intelligence there that is available simply by being there. So if whatever it comes up for you here in this circle, whether it's excitement or it's sadness or it's confusion or whatever, you can just breathe it into the circle energy. You don't even have to speak it to us, because it's not the us that does the best work. It's that greater field beyond us that does something that when we leave today, something will change. Something will have changed within you because you've been here. So, we all have many stories of how we got to where we are. And I've shared a lot of stories of why I'm doing what I'm doing. But I'd like to hear from you in whatever way you want to share. And again, when we open the circle for sharing, you're always welcome to pass or say, come back later. Everything that is spoken into this circle stays in this circle. It doesn't go outside. We don't take it to our friends. We don't go like, oh my gosh. This circle is to be be deeply listened to because you've spoken, not to be fixed because you've spoken, but to give you space to be heard. And also space if you need to just be silent, and that's fine too. But I want you to just take a 30 seconds. What is it? Story, experience, thought. What brought you to this class beginning today? What is your story? Why are you here? Just be with that, and then we're going to tag around and let us hear from each other that part of our story. Okay. Arlantha, what is your story? Why are you here?
Well, I'm here because I had the pleasure of meeting you, Sharon, a few months ago and started working with you on healing my own negative patterns in my life, my personal life, specifically relationships with men. So I've been working with Sharon, with you on that, and I feel like the process of healing has begun, and it's an ongoing process, and I feel like it's making a positive impact on me. But for this class specifically, I would like to learn more about more of this healing through vibrations and energy. For my daughter, I have a 21-year-old daughter in college. She's doing great in school. She's going to be her third year, junior year, and she had a back injury a few years ago, and she experiences severe back pain. And I want to learn how I can help her through healing vibrations and energy. So that's why I'm taking this course, to learn more, to help myself and loved ones. And that's it.
Okay, now you get to tag the next person.
Let's see. I will tag Arlie.
I'm in this class because a little over a year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago, I decided to step back into energy awareness and working in the, let's call it, unseen fields, just so we can cover everything. I've been working with Sharon. I've been taking several classes from Sharon, and the more I learn, the more it resonates with me. So there's new information coming to Sharon all the time, and I am here to learn that and to fine tune, hone, get to feel confident in applying these techniques in areas of my life and for others. And I would like to tag Audrey.
Oh, so I found Sharon through the Northern Gateway in March, and my life has never been the same. I experienced a lot of trauma in my teenage years, and I've gone the path of Reiki and neurolinguistic programming and EMDR and theta and shamanism, and I think I cleared a lot of stuff out, but I just was missing that piece, and I just didn't know what it was. And then here came Sharon, and it just makes sense to me. And then I had a friend who I just didn't know how to help her because things just kept on coming back into her field. And I asked Spirit to guide me to what I needed to learn to help her. And that's why I'm here. So grateful, very grateful. Jalen?
Well, I've got a lot of trauma in my past, and I've done shamanic practicums. I'm a yoga teacher with lots and lots of training. I'm a training junkie, as long as it's good. I'm a Reiki master, a massage therapist. I found my way into being a yoga coach, and I work through the government, and I work with people who suffer from addiction and a lot of mental illnesses. And I found Sharon in the Mothership Alliance pretty much at the same time, and I got to hear Sharon speaking, and she invited me to some meditations, and then she came to some of my meditations, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. I asked her if she would mentor me, and so she mentored me for about 6 months, and I was trying to bring this stuff to some clients, and I just felt kind of fumbly and not like I felt a little like how I would say it is, I felt like a kindergartner trying to teach high school, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. So though the Guardian Circle stuff alone and the reality shift stuff alone has helped a lot of clients and myself, and I would say working with Sharon, I so far got rid of a piece of my back pain that has not come back, and it's been really interesting to remember the journey that she led me through that unwound that. So it's pretty awesome. So that's why I'm here. And I call on Diana.
Pushing the wrong button. So I'm here. Clearly, you know, I've journeyed along with my mom as she's, you know, done her work and been a student and not a student, and kind of kind of going through a really difficult time in my life in relation to a relationship with my son's father and legal stuff, and you know, I feel like I've just kind of lost my way and, you know, forgotten how to kind of claim, do the processes, claim my experience, and you know, all that. And my mom has helped me a lot, kind of working with me, and I think I'm just kind of like ready to put that experience in the past. You know, it's been enough of a chunk of my life, and I feel like in moving forward into my future with my son, and moving this weekend, you know, hopefully it goes out, so that, you know, that I want to, like, because I've you know, studied massage, been a massage therapist, you know, kind of gardener, like healing and working with hands, and kind of, you know, but I feel like there's some work that I will be called to do that will integrate what I've experienced and learned navigating this particular experience, you know, and I feel like, I feel like this is a piece. I feel like it's been a piece, but I haven't been quite, you know, like I got to do my own thing, you know, but because I've taken TAG before, and even it was a number of years ago, and I think I'm just ready to, you know, not just be a student or a client, but to kind of to step it up, kind of relearn, you know, and get the updates that are constantly, I know, happening with my mom and the work that she and, you know, the people that she works with do. So I'm kind of here to kind of step into a healing versus being in trauma, and also like try, you know, kind of see what it might do for my life in a bigger way, not just to heal, but also to give back. And so that's kind of why I'm here. And I call upon, oh, is that everybody? Audrey? Oh, that's everybody. Okay.
Some common themes, certainly some common themes. So I was living in Utah, because I've been in Utah a fair amount of my life. And I don't even remember what year it was, but it was certainly probably in the early 1980s. And I heard about a film, an indigenous man who had created a documentary that he was previewing at one of the churches. And it was, he had gone to various tribes around the world, not just First Nations and not just indigenous tribes, but tribes from around the world, to capture the prophecies that they held within their cultures in order to see was there commonality. And so I was intrigued and went. I was not doing anything. TAG hadn't even begun, really. By that time, I had been connecting with a spiritual guide for about probably 11, 12 years in raising my family. So how do I do this? How do I do that? That was my board of directors, you know, my sanity place, to get that kind of information. So I thought it would be really, really interesting to see this documentary and hear from this man. So I went, and he talked about in his travels when he was in South America, he kept hearing, you've got to go into the jungles and visit these 4 young men. They're doing something incredible. And so he made contact, made arrangements to go into the jungle to where these 4 young men were, because he wanted to get their story. So the story was this, you know, sometimes we think that the indigenous tribes lived in peace with one another. And that's not true. They didn't live in peace with one another either. And there was a lot of battles between one tribe and another. And you take my people, I'm going to take your people. You take my crops, I'm going to take your horses. I mean, there was conflict going on in between, especially these two tribes. And this was many, many years ago. And one of the tribes determined that they were just going to go in and annihilate, just get rid of that tribe. And they did. And they went in and they attacked the tribe. They killed most everyone, threw their bodies in a cave, but they took some of the youngers and assimilated them into their tribe. And there was a configuration because there was more than one tribe. Well, these 4 young men grew, and they, I don't know if they knew intuitively, but they knew that they were from this village that had been annihilated. And as they got into college, into that level, they started hanging out with others, and they found each other and realized they were all from that same village. They all had been captured, taken to various places, maybe sold, who knows, but they were from the same village. And they, in talking about these things that they didn't know, what was their village like? What was the wisdom of their tribe? They didn't know. And they determined that they were going to go back, find the area, find the cave, and they were going to stay there to dream awake the bones of their ancestors. And so they told him of their dreams, and you know, there was nobody alive. There was no elder that they could sit at the feet of. But as they prayed, as they held space, as they slept, information, ritual, ceremony, ideas started to come back to them. And it was like sometimes they would just call down the weather, you know. The things that had been held in the bones of their ancestors were not destroyed. That information was there. The codes were there. So afterwards, I stayed and I went up to this, and he wasn't a young man. He was probably in his 50s, or I don't think 60s, maybe late 50s, and thanked him for what he'd done. It was an incredible documentary, but I really was taken by this story. And I told him so. And he looked at me eye to eye, and he said, when are you going to dream awake the bones of your ancestors? And I know he must have seen in my face the surprise and the unknowing, like, I don't even know what you're talking about, guy. And then he said to me, the women. The women. And even at that point, I didn't know what I didn't know what he was talking about. But I heard him, and the stories never left me. When are you going to dream awake the bones of your ancestors, the women? It was several years later in '89 when I was introduced to a healing process. All I knew energetically beyond asking questions about my family, my children, what to do, how to do, was that affirmations. Oh my gosh. I mean, I didn't have to just be on automatic pilot down here because God put this program before me. I could participate in the program with like affirmations. I mean, that was huge. So I knew affirmations, and they were pretty good. And I was introduced to a process called crystal chakra balancing. And so I thought, wow, that is intriguing and interesting. I won't tell you that story, but so I began to share with my friends energy work using clear quartz, using the chakras, using scanning the body, using telepathy to make a difference in the chakras, to get them balanced so that they are balanced, strong, etc., and can be a kind of a core for life. And how it really, my friends walked away going like, whoa, this is great. And many of you had heard the story, but then they get triggered again. We do the balancing, we get the chakras online, they're feeling good, triggered again. And what the common thought was at the time is that we have to go through the onion layers. You have to go through the onion layers. And I'm going like, wait a minute, if there's an onion that's not healthy, I want to go to the core. What's causing that onion to be unhealthy? I want to eliminate the cause. Pull out the cause. Then whatever we do is now taking rid of the onion, but more quickly. Onion layers could take us lifetimes. And that's when I went back to my spiritual teachers and said, this is great work. I mean, this energy work, working with hands, chakras, colors. Hey, it's pretty interesting, and I can see it's making a difference. But it's not fast enough. We have lives to live. It's not fast enough. I want to learn how to go to the core, to the cause of the onion, of whatever the problem is, eliminate the cause so that the onion collapses. Not just to know the cause. No, I want to eliminate the cause. Know it, eliminate it. Where can I go to learn that? Point my way. And that's when they said it's not being done that way on the planet. Because the cause isn't what they're going after, isn't what it's just been hidden. So if that's what you want to do, then we will have to teach you. We will have to bring information back to you. And then get a journal. Don't read anything. Don't worry about lectures. It's what you want isn't out there. We have it if you want it. Very naively, I said, okay, yes, of course I do. And the journey began. And it was like a research project. What's the questions I'd ask? The answers would come. They said, we will bring you clients that will trigger questions. And the questions will trigger answers. And the answers will create processes and commands, and we'll get you and your clients to another place. So I said, okay, that's what I'm up for. That's what I'm up for. What I didn't realize at the time is that information, bringing it forward, was like dreaming awake the bones of our maternal ancestors. What had we missed? What had been taken away that's unique to us in a female bodysuit? Have you ever had the experience of you get this idea, intuition, and you don't know why, and you move forward and you move forward and you march forward, and then all of a sudden you look back and you go like, oh, that's why. You got that? You've had that experience? You don't know necessarily why in the moment, maybe not, doesn't even make sense in the moment. You act on it or you don't act on it, either one, and you go like, oh, that's why I should have done that. Or, oh, that's why I was being called to do that. So I called myself, because what name do you give yourself? I mean, the information that came through was, I didn't have words for it sometimes, you know, and I want to say that to also to you, and you may have had that experience. Sometimes you have a question, you get the answer, and it's like there's no words for it. There's a sense to it. There's a feeling to it, but the words aren't there because the words aren't here in our physical world. That's the kind of path we are going to be on. That I had to make up words as I went along because I didn't know. So when I first started, putting this, what I call tag together, and I'd work on a person and we'd do it, and then work on the next person, and we do, it just kept expanding and getting bigger because each client built on the next, on the next, on the next, on the next. And as you can see, my daughter's dog is really thrilled. She must be coming home from the gym. I love Zoom for that. We are authentic here. So I needed to have a name for what I was doing. It was energy work. It was spiritual work. It was unseen work, working the unseen. I had teachers, I had guides, but what is the name? Because it isn't Reiki. It isn't just energy healing. It isn't just chakra balancing. What is it? And so I sat with that question for probably a couple of weeks, and I couldn't come up with a word. So finally, I sat and talked to my team, and at the beginning, what I call my touch point into this was Jesus, who also then had the title of Sananda. So I mostly have called him Sananda. So I would say, okay, do you guys have a name for what we're doing here? And they said, yeah, we have a name. So I said, well, okay, well, what is it? Well, it's R-E-A-N. R-E-A-N. Rian. That makes no sense. If I'm going to say to somebody, hey, come and do a Rian session, they're going like, what are you talking about? I don't know what that means. I thought they were joking because there's the relationship we have with our spiritual guides are very much like what we have with our friends. Sometimes they're funny. And I said, oh, okay, that sounds great. Left the paper on my desk, came back later in the day and looked at it, and I knew what they were saying. And it was an acronym. And it's at 1 now. 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 1 re, at one, now. Instant healing. Instant healing. That's the goal. I went, okay. So for probably a year and a half, maybe two, that's the name I used as I did my work, and I traveled in many, many states, traveled a great deal. And then one day they said to me, let go of Rianne. And I went, what? We're just getting started. You want me to stop doing this work? No, get rid of, stop, just let go of Rianne. I went, what does that mean? If I'm still going to be doing the work, but let go of Rianne, I did. And they said, no, you need a different name now. Oh, okay. I understood. There was a reason for it. So they said, you decide on the name. So so TAG is really the secondary name for this work. And I came to this acronym like with more practical. I work in this work, you work with beings who are off planet. You have specific teams, guidance. You work with beings off planet. Angelic represents that. So the A in TAG represents that spiritual connection, and it stands, and that's angelic. We work way beyond the angelic realm and include the angelic realm, but it's a standing point. With the help of that guidance, our commitment is to look over our grids, because energy has grids, it creates grids. To be able to evaluate grids, to find out what is keeping them imbalanced or diseased, out of balance, to be able to remove, transform, eliminate, whatever, all those names mean the same, or heal the cause of that imbalance, so that the energy will triangulate. And a triangle is the strongest form of healthy energy. When energy is triangulating, then it can be formed into all kinds of sacred geometry that can come into play by words, by thoughts, by concepts. So triangular, angelic grids. So for, let's see, this is 2021, probably for 8 years, 21, this is 21. Yeah, because I started in the galactic world work in 2000, started the work itself in the latter part of 89. So for, I maybe like 18 years, really, we've called the work TAG. The first couple of years, Rianne, then TAG. And what's interesting is now we've shifted and added back Rianne. And that's because of the shifts and changes that have occurred, and that we are now able to take on that true mission of moving people into Rianne. I had to come up with a name for myself. Why that's how we are in human form. We make up stories, we make up words to make sense of things, not because they're absolute and because there's the truth, but it helps us make sense of things when we're in the human state. And so I have for years called myself a radical, mystic Shaw woman. Radical because I push the envelope. I push the envelope. I'm not going to take, we're picking up the onion layers. I'm not going to stay there. What more can we do? Oh my gosh, the government is after us. Okay, then what do we do? I'm going to push the envelope to cause. And it's not that radical in the sense is not like, oh, I'm crazy out there doing dumb things. No, it's pushing the envelope until you get to, for me, it's getting to cause. So radical. The information, best word I could come up with was, I'm being taught mystically. I'm being taught this way. So mystic, that's my teachers. I'm pushing the envelope. Here are my teachers. but the teachings are so much like what would be called a shaman. So I was listening to an interview Friday night with two Peruvian Sha people. They're a married couple. And so the interviewer asked them the question, what is a shaman? Good question. So they began to distinguish what they termed shaman meant. A shaman is one who travels into the unseen to get information. A shaman is one who connects with the power and the information within Earth herself, whether it's through trees, whether it's through plant medicine, whether it's through rocks, whether it's through oils, whether it's through air, whether it's through water, connects with Mother Earth herself. They called it, Pachamama. Yeah, grandmother. Yes, definitely. And that being a Sha person, a Sha woman, I say, is a calling. It's an invitation. You are invited into that. And you know that. You have your stories. Why are you here today? And that what happens in that unseen world, what you get in that unseen world, in whatever way you do, is not about having hallucinations that have no meaning, no purpose, that scatter. No, they have purpose. They give voice to vision. They give voice to understanding bigger. There's purpose in that unseen information. So you are on a path to dream awake your bones of your ancestors. You are on a path of shamanship, mystic shamanship, radically. So welcome to the journey. So I'm going to have, again, just take a moment and think. And after this, we can take just about a 5-minute break. You know, although I connect with Gaia, and she's a big part of what we're doing here, as is the sun. If I were to say my connection to the greater information comes through my teams. There's multiple of them, and so my connection to greater information are my teams. That's me. But I want you to think, what word would you use, or have you thought about what that word is? What is your connection to greater? Is it God? Is it masters? Is it Gaia? What is it? And I want you to think about that and then put it in the chat and capture it. Then we'll give you about a minute for that exercise. What is the name you would give right at this moment, that connection to greater? And by the way, when we have about 10 seconds left, I'll just do a little thingy like this. So this will be our warning throughout the course of 30 seconds, or in this case, like 10 seconds. Here we are. So Arlie, would you read what's in the chat?
Source, divine source, guides, Mother Earth, Father Sky, God, And I haven't named my connection in the past, but source or creator of all that is overall.
Great. It's important, I think, to know where we are starting and be heard. I mean, how many people ask you, what's your connection to source or to the greater? We don't ask that question, but it's great to have the opportunity to say. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a 5-minute break, which means we'll come back at 57 after the hour. So just stretch your body. If you need to do get a drink of water or go to the bathroom, whatever you need to do, 5 minutes, and we'll be back.